What's good? What's good? I am back. One and only Paul Masson, live from Fayettenam. Normally I go live on Fridays, 7 p.m. Eastern time, but I've started to go live on Thursdays as well, just to have an extra day for people to review. Damn, I had that on repeat. So we got a guest coming on here soon. We waiting on the guest. I sent him a text. Hopefully he can figure out the link and whatnot. Um, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram. Don't look like my Instagram is I'm not seeing nothing on the Instagram. That's weird. Does not look like the Instagram is actually streaming properly. Does not at all. Probably about to end that in a second. So I got a bunch of interviews coming up. Just to keep y'all informed of what's going on. I might have to redo this Instagram. It definitely does not look like it's streaming right. So we're going to end that out. And we'll just restream it on Instagram later. So we got an interview coming up soon. We got Jay Fliz on June 13th. We got Lord Digger on June 12th. He used to be down with Master Ace. We got Michael Myers on June 27th. And we got a female rapper, Pretty P. But we're going to be rescheduling that because they got booked for a show on that date. So they got to pick a new date. And we still got Swayzak of the Goats coming on as well. Yeah, so it looks like they were having trouble on Instagram. Let's see what's up. Hold on. Let's give him a little bit of time to come in. Also, I got some interviews on the Paul Pickett podcast. Tomorrow we got Stephen Tomahawk Townsend. That'll be 6 p.m. Eastern time. And we got June 8th, which is Sunday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. We got Francesco Richie as well. All right, so here's our guest. We about to go ahead and bring him on. He actually used to be part of an R&B group back in the days. Some of you cats might heard of Foreshore was the group. He also is the guy who discovered Dina Howard and produced for Dina Howard. He's also 1/3 of Dizzle brand owners, and he's actually dabbled into the movie business as well and spent decades in the music industry. Let's bring on up. We just lost him. Let's see if he comes back on. Damn, it's look like he popped out. Up there we go. All right, let's bring him on. One and only Livio Harris. Livio, what's good?
What's up? What's the deal?
How you feeling out there? What's the weather like?
Oh man, sunny and sunny. You know, can't complain, man. Can't complain.
You know,
Very, very sunny.
we got nothing but rain over here.
Oh wow. Sorry to hear that. Yeah. It's like 80 some degrees. You know how it goes.
All
Chilling
right,
out here.
so you know, I've been doing my research. I like to do research on, and you know, there's a lot of stuff. So I don't know if we're gonna be able to get to it all because I do want to get to some Dizzle stuff, some things with the movies with your cousin and whatnot. But let's start here. For sure, that group. So how did y'all end up forming that group?
Well, actually, so I'm from Kansas City, and you know, I'm from Kansas City, and so most of the members, well, Damon Thomas, who's part of the Underdogs now, and my other guy, Bud Ford, we are from Kansas City. So I came here first from Kansas City, '89, and then I brought them out, and we hooked up with our management, which was Kurt Woodley at the time, and Charlie Davis. They were with Uptown Records, so they got us to deal immediately with Andre Harrell, Uptown. The group kind of had already formed. We were like producers and songwriters in our own rights. So when we came together, we was following the guy and the guy trend, and we like, yo, we want to be like that. So formed the group, got the deal very quickly actually on Uptown. And Uptown back then was the Rock Nation bad boy today. They had Father MC, Jodeci, Mary, Guy, I'll Be Sure. So it was the premier label to be on. So we were blessed to be on that.
And y'all's manager, Kurt Woodley, he's the guy that discovered Mary J, right?
Yeah, he managed Mary J. Blige. He managed, discovered her and Jeff Red. Went on to discover Alicia Keys. He was VP of A&R at Uptown, who kind of talked Puff, pretty much got him his job back then. But yeah, so Kurt Woodley's the inspiration to me, and still to this day we talk. It's like just like my dad. It's like my mentor.
And how'd you meet Kurt?
Kurt, actually, Damon Thomas's mom, believe it or not, worked at General Motors, and so she met this guy Reggie Johnson, that worked
Okay.
there as well, and he was partnered with Kurt and this other guy, Charlie Davis. So they had formed a management company. So basically, it was more like General Motors workers talking together. My son has a group, and there's the rest is history.
Now I seen when you did some background vocals on a gangster rap group, HWA. I guess that was Hoes with Attitude.
Wow, you digging in the crates, huh? Yeah, Hoes with Attitude back in it was NWA, and then all of a sudden there's these girls out of Chicago, real sexy girls out of Chicago called Hoes with Attitude. So, I was part of we produced some records with them, and then we had background vocals on it as well.
That's crazy. Yeah. And then so there was something about this remix y'all did with Jeff Red's Love High single, and it was a radio version. What can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Jeff Red was a label mate at the time, who's still doing it to this day, and he had a big, big record called "You Called and Told Me." That's still one of the classics. But he was a label mate. They had the record, which was already popping, and they like, Damon, who was real prolific with the music side. And they were like, well, for sure, there's a new group on the label. They producers as well. Let's give them a shot at doing a remix. And so we got lucky enough to do that remix that still plays to this day. Actually, it's crazy. Like
And
35 years later.
I'm actually not familiar with Jeff Red. Like, when was he out? Like the early '80s?
Yeah, 91. Yeah,
Oh,
91,
91?
92.
Okay,
Yeah,
91.
yeah,
Yeah.
he's a good R&B guy. He was definitely at the forefront. Uh, Most New Yorkers definitely know him. But Jeff Red, yeah, he was a thing. He was a thing. And then 35 years later, he's still doing it.
So, as a group, y'all's debut album, what was it called? We Can Swing It. It was released 1993, distributed by Sony Music. You had a couple singles, Innocent Girl and Try and Find a Way. They both made a presence on Billboard. You had 115 and 122. Well, like, what was the feeling like at that time?
Yeah, it was popping back then. That was the era of the guy groups. It was it was for sure. It was intro. It was it was those groups in that era. And just to recap, so we were on Uptown MC first.
Okay.
At the time, they signed Jodeci, and then they signed us like a week later. Week later, so
Oh,
Andre's
so y'all
thing was
signed a week
all
after Jodeci?
yeah, week after Jodeci.
That's
So
crazy.
Andre's thing was like, I can't have two bad boy type groups, on the label. I got to switch it up. So he had this thing like Mary was his Aretha Franklin, uh, you know, Jodeci was his Bad Boys of R&B. We want to be Bad Boys of R&B. So he was trying to put us in some Temptations, some suits, and do some Temptations. I'm like, nah, we ain't really feeling that. We want to be bad too, right? So he like, I can't have two of the same. So he kind of left in in a good way. It wasn't bad. So Kurt just happened to be lucky enough to move over to Rough House Columbia, which is Crisscross, Cypress Hill, Fuji's. So he brought us over there. Like, hey man, if Andre feels that he's not gonna put your guys out because y'all he got that already, we can move you over to Rough House Records, and that's we went over there. That's where the Sony part comes at. Sony Columbia Rough House.
And
And
that's
we were
what my
blessed.
next question was: is how did y'all end up on Rough House? So you said Kurt got a job over there, and then he brought y'all through as
Yeah,
well.
he brought us through, and at that time it was Crisscross. It was Cypress Hill, the Fugees, and so we were the only R&B group over there at the time. So we ended up transitioning to the Sony Columbia.
Well, because I've always heard these stories where, like, part of the problem with artists on the labels is like people leave the labels, and now the people they got to go back to bat for them are no longer there. So, I mean, I guess it would be an awkward situation, but it's kind of good that he actually brought y'all over and whatnot, and
Yeah,
didn't forget about
yeah,
y'all.
yeah. And he was managing us at the same time, so he made sure he had our best
Yeah, yeah,
interests
yeah,
because
yeah.
I'm the manager, I'm the head of the company, A&R. So I got to make sure these guys hit because I'm a manager. I get to eat
All right, so,
also. You know what I'm
so let's get into this one. All right, there's this chick back in the days when I was a little kid that a lot of guys had her poster up on the wall and they fantasized about her and whatnot. And she goes by the name of Adina Howard. So
Yes, sir.
where was it that y'all first seen Adina, and what was it about her that y'all saw that you knew had potential?
Yeah. So in the process of for sure touring, we was touring around the country, and so we did this Arizona Miss Black Phoenix Festival. Miss Black Phoenix Festival pageant. So we performed there, and after that, we was in the lobby signing autographs, and she walked up boldly and was like, you're gonna need my autograph one day. And I'm like, what? Who is this girl? Right? So she starts. I said, sing something. So she wasn't the greatest at the time, but I just
Yeah.
love the fact that she was bold and she didn't care. And so I said, so we kind of linked. Well, I kind of linked with her uh, at that time, and we just built a bond. And so me and her start, just talking over the phone one day, and she was like, I said, I got to figure out what I'm gonna do with her because I got to, keep it simple and write some fly stuff, and come up with some fly songs. So uh, I was talking to her one day, and she slammed the door in the background. This is a crazy story. Slammed the door in the background, and she said, cursing in the back. I said, damn, what's going on? She said, I had to kick this dude out because he couldn't get down. He couldn't do. I was like, whoa. She said, whoa. So then the
Whoa.
bell went off, and it was like R. Kelly's little sister, which is more the street conversations than the sex conversations. Black Madonna, this is my vision, which is the stuff that she wore on stage, like, very kind of half, dressed in. So that was the Madonna side of her, and then the R. Kelly side was more the sex and the street conversation. And that's where Adina was born. And I took it from there. I brought my team on, Doc Little out of Chicago. He was kind of like very good into R. Kelly. I was a super R. Kelly fan. So us and various producers, Carl Rowland, they call Mo Cuts. So I just put a real team together to kind of come in and mold the sound, and it all worked out, man. And people told me that ain't gonna work. She's too blunt. She's talking about sex, like she's talking like she's a dude, and like the stuff the dude would say to women, she's saying to the dudes. I don't know if that's gonna work because Mary just came out with what's the 411, so like, she needs to be like that. So I almost didn't even do it. I was like, damn, second guess. Maybe I'm tripping. So some told me, man, don't just do you, right? So I did it, and here we are, 35 years later, still touring. She's getting probably more tours now than ever. The record's still playing on videos. People have remade this record 1,000 times, and so the vision was there. I executed it. She executed it, and that has created 35 years later the Sexy Reds, the Lottos, the Cardi B's. So she kind of was the one of the first ones to do that in 1992. You know what I'm saying? And now here we are, 2025, and we're breeding all these great new generations of what we kind of started.
And I
Max,
think
let me back up too.
go ahead.
Max Goose, and Rose Romaine. They had a label called Mechadon.
Uh-huh.
They needed artists. I gave them Adina. I decided the manager. They was the label, and the star was born. And so I have to give credit to those guys, along with Sylvia Rome, who was the Elektra Records, who gave them their label, but wasn't going to activate it until they brought her something that was fly. So here's Adina. Boom, label activated. Sylvia Rome backed it. Roland Bob backed it. Uh, Max Goose and Rose was the owner of Mechadon. They had Michael Speaks, and they came on to do other great artists. So me and Max to this day is like brothers. It's like 35, 32 years later, we're still best friends. And, so I have to give them a lot of credit for that.
And I saw where it says you wrote 90% of the album. Is that true?
I would say probably, I would say 80
80?
percent.
80%?
Because,
I
and I
mean,
didn't
that's
want,
still
80%.
close.
And I didn't want to do, I was one of those guys, I hate those albums where you have one person, let's say Timberland, no disrespect, but he did the whole 12 song. I've always wanted to be variety. Like I did eight songs, right? 9 songs. And then the other rest came from other people that out of New York that we didn't even know, other people that was kind of on the come up. And so Doc Little was like my guy. It was like me and him were like Jam and Lewis. So, it was one of those things that, you know, I like it because it's variety. It's diverse. So it's almost like a mixtape. So that's why today I get people calling me saying, man, I just went and bought that album again, 30 some years later. Like the record still sounds fresher than ever because it's more like a mixtape mentality versus this Livio doing the whole album. And then there's another guy, G Man, they call him, that actually came in and did a lot of the great records with me as well. So I'm just trying to give props, man. I'm never going to be the guy that's like, Livio did
Like,
that. No,
yeah, I did
no,
it
no,
all myself.
no I
Yeah,
in team, right? No I in
yeah,
team.
yeah. Team Dizzle, Team Dizzle. So you co-produced for CC Peniston. What albums was that?
Well, CeCe Peniston was a good friend of Adina Howard before Adina Howard. So,
Okay,
you know, that was probably one of her, maybe her second album, maybe, and that was probably more of a remix
okay,
versus produced. Yeah, it was probably more of a CeCe Peniston remix. And like I said, Damon Thomas was, I don't know if people are familiar with the Underdogs. Who's not, right? Underdogs is like, they was R&B kings in the 90s and 2000s. How you gonna act like that? Tyrese, Listen, Beyonce, Chris Brown. I mean, they were kings of R&B as far as producers. Harvey Mason Jr., who is now the chairman of the Grammys, believe it or not. And then you have Damon Thomas. They were partners that did all these mega hits, and then how it goes. They split off, and then Harvey became this guy over here. Damon just did some Usher records, and they still doing great things. So Damon was our musical guy for this For Sure sound. And believe it or not, it's crazy. I was scamming through some stuff yesterday, and they had a For Sure album for $37. I'm like, are you kidding me?
wow.
But it's like, so people are calling us to this day because that's the kind of record people should go back. It's called For Sure, the number four sure, but you have to put maybe like For Sure Rough House Records or For
Okay,
Sure Sony. But if you listen to that album to this day, it sounds like a classic. And we're talking about remastering and putting it back out. But people are hitting us from Germany, France. Man, I'll give you $500 for the CD. I love that album, man. I can't find it nowhere. So it's one of those things, man, that is organically still popping in R&B, and we're gonna probably just go back and remaster it and put it out again just because. But that's the history For Sure. That's the history of Adina, uh, and then you got Dizzle, obviously, and then my time at Epic Records with Max Goose, who and Dave McPherson hired me, and Max found did the B2K. So I was a part of a lot of great eras of genres and eras of the game.
now I saw this. It says Harris also became executive vice president, creative U.S. for Notting Hill Music Publishing and managed John B. You managed John B?
No, what it was that as a guy named Oz that was managing John B, and I was kind of
Okay,
assisting Oz. So it was more like people
okay.
get it mixed up. Like, so I was kind of behind the scenes helping Oz do things. So you could potentially say I was a part of the movement, but Oz Sachene was actually the manager at the time.
And John B's last record was pretty good. Like I did a little bit of playlisting on that, and it was a really nice record.
Yeah, yeah. I did
So
do his pub deal at Notting Hill, though. Going and segued into Notting Hill, I did do his pub deal over there. So now we want to tap into Notting Hill. That's a good era for me.
so there was this interview you helped me get. This guy named Melvin Riley, ready for the world. Like, how long do you know Melvin? Like, when y'all build a relationship?
Melvin, I met him in '91. I was doing a Dina
Wow.
Howard. I needed a clear sample.
Yeah.
Uh, I got introduced to him by this guy that cleared samples for us, Dennis. And Dennis turned us on. He said, "He want to talk to you. He cleared a sample for damn near little or nothing, but he want to talk to you." So we kind of connected. I said, "Dude, I'm a fan. I'm a super fan of Ready for the World." And he used to come. He was in Flint, Michigan still, but he used to come here all the time. We go kick it, party, kick it. We became friends. So Melvin is, to this day, he's putting out great records. I'm helping with that still. Honored to be a consultant for his modern day project from the '80s to now. He's still doing records and Ready for the World still touring. So that's my relationship with Melvin. It's like a brother. But '91 to now, it's for 30, 32,
Yeah,
33
that's a
years.
wow. That's a wow.
30, yeah, yeah.
Now I also see it says you work with Keith Sweat and Maya. Is that true?
Keith Sweat, we did remix for
Okay.
Keith Sweat. We used to do a lot of remixes back in the day. So we would go take a hit record that was already dope and remix it, and they would give us our credit as producer, on that particular record.
So how would that work? Y'all would go, okay, so you got the hit record, y'all go and remix it and y'all release it?
But they release it, the label.
The the
In the
label will
'90s, that was
release it.
yeah. In the '90s,
Okay.
that was the thing. If you notice, in the '90s, if anybody put a record out, they would
Yeah.
go and get somebody to remix it and make it try to do better, like remixed by Timbaland or remixed by Al B. Shore. So they would remix these records and take a record that's already kind of popping, or sometimes the record is doing okay, but it ain't really going where it's supposed to go. Then labels back then were known for saying, we got to get somebody to remix it right now. We got to get Mustard to remix this joint. And then
So they
Mustard would
go
put
to
his,
somebody else and remix it, basically.
yeah, Mustard would remix it. Or whoever, at this point, I would do Mustard example. Somebody, one of
Yeah.
my artists put a record out, like Melvin put a record out, and the record's doing good, but it's not exploding. Let's get a remix real fast to give it a different personality. So I would go get Mustard, take this record and make it into magic. And then Mustard gonna put his twist on it, and now the record's starting to explode. Sometimes the remix does better than the actual record.
Now you still have the original artist on the remix?
Yeah, and we take
Okay.
their hit and remix the track. It's more remixing the track and making the track something special. Like I said, let's
So
imagine taking "Love You Down" by Ready for the World and get Mustard to remix it, and then Mustard put his twist on it. Now it's a whole nother life. And a lot of times, records would last back then was like 90 days. Record lasts, and then it starts to trickle off. And they like do a remix right quick to keep the
yeah,
lifeline
yeah,
going. They'll do a
yeah.
remix, extend it another 2 3 months. So a single will be like 5 6 months lifeline based on the remix helping keeping it going. You know what I'm saying?
Now, did people remix their own records back then like that, or were they just kind of more outsourcing and going out to
I
do
mean, if you're a
remixes?
dope producer within your own right, yeah, you would remix your own. But a lot of times,
Yeah.
it's always who was hot at the time. Like let's just say at that time, maybe Teddy Riley, example, right?
Okay.
Oh,
Yeah.
Teddy's the hottest thing popping. Anything he put out goes. Let's
Get
get
him to
Teddy to do the
remix
remix.
it. Yeah.
So Teddy
Yeah.
would remix it, and he'll put his twist on it, and now everybody, oh, that's the Teddy remix. Oh shit, Teddy flipped that, made it 30 times better. You know what I'm saying?
And that seems like nowadays that should be like the standard for all really big hit records is you gotta have the remix, man. Like P
Yeah, they
Diddy's like the
should.
king of remixes, right? P Diddy's like the king of remixes, ain't he?
Oh yeah, Bad Boy was crazy back in the '90s. They was this had his whole team, the
Yeah.
Hitman. They would flip everybody's shit. And, and you're right. It's a different day, man. It's like back in the day when music mattered. I ain't gonna say it don't matter now, but when music was real, it mattered. And, people having fun and being competitive, and who's the hottest artist and how do we keep this hottest artist hot. That it was very money was being spent. Money was being spent. Today it's the microwave. Hey, we ain't trying to spend a bunch of money. Sign him because he got numbers and hope and pray. You know what I'm saying? And then put a few sprinkle of dollars on it and see what happens. That's the era we in now. How many followers you got? And I hate it. I personally hate it. It's like, who cares how many followers I got? Who cares how many Spotify numbers I got? Because 90% of the shit is being bought. If you go to some of the biggest names in the game, they got 200 million views, and you'll find out that probably 100 of it is bots or
Yeah.
fake. And the labels are paying for that. So it's like, damn, labels is paying, like they in on it too. So I don't really I try to go back to the original days of walk in a room, looking like a star. You sing a record a cappella, you play a couple of your jams, and then it's like, who's your lawyer? And now the deal's getting done and it's done. That's
Yeah.
why those artists 30 years later are still here. Beyonce still here. Usher still here. New Edition still here because there was marketing behind them. They were real true artists. It wasn't a fly by night, it wasn't a microwave scenario. And that's why those artists are here for 30, 40 years. Like the Motown days, Temptations and all that, 50-year run. You know what I'm saying? But the new stuff, you might be, you got a hit record, it blows up. You might have a couple of albums after that, and then or three, and then it's over. Some people don't even get that far. There was a dude named I can't remember his name, but he had a record called Roxanne. So like Roxanne,
I know yo,
Roxanne.
I'm glad you brought that dude up. You know what? Roker will tell you, man. I have been on the record of saying I think that guy was a Milli Vanilli.
I'm telling you
I
that
think he was a Milli Vanilli, like because
that's my yep.
that song, his name, I forgot his name. It starts with an A, right? His
It's
name started with like an A or something.
right,
But
right.
that song was huge as hell on like radio and Spotify, and they didn't drop a music video for like 2 years after the song was big. And when they did, it was just like, all right,
And that's
anybody
my
can
and
lip
that's my
sync a video. Anybody can lip sync a video.
and that's my point. My point is the whole TikTok challenges and TikTok. He lucked up and went viral with it. And the crazy part is labels fell into it. They had bidding wars going $4 million, $5 million, $6 million. Sony
I
ended
gotta
up
look
doing,
this guy up.
Sony ended up doing the deal. And that one record came out, and then where's he now? That was 5 years ago. Where's he at now? Like, never heard of him. He probably realized this was a
I
joke to
His
me.
name is Arizona Zervis. Arizona
Yes,
Zervis.
yes. It was probably one of those things where it's like this is a joke, and it took off, and I didn't expect it to take off. It was all a joke to me, and it took off. So
And then we
now,
had to find a face. We had to find a face that fit with the music. And let's throw this
and it,
guy out
yeah,
here and make him lip sing. I swear, I think this guy, he's Milli Vanilli,
and
man.
then think
Like,
about that. You got $6 million deal. Everybody's what's next, and if you ain't really that dude, you be like, I was just fucking around, and I got lucky. I'm not an artist. I'm just I'm just a jokester. I'm an influencer. So now you got to go perform in front of the world every night. That ain't what I do. But you already got the bag. You got the money. You ran into the sunset with the bag, and that's why the labels are now starting to kind of realize that they fucked off billions of dollars or hundreds of millions on this old fake viral moments. And it's like, yo, you got to go back to the realness and really get to the bag the right way because. And so now there's a very few that's kind of, yo, bring me a dope artist. You know what I'm saying? What's his number? Numbers ain't great, but they're not bad. All right, let's do it. That's when you're gonna win. But that whole they got 5 million views. Oh, sign them, and then they come out and the record goes away, and then you did a bidding war for 6, 7 million, and you think about it, you do that with 20 artists a year. Do the math. It's like $140 million.
you know
So,
what's funny
I
you
think
said that though?
huh?
Like look at, it's funny you said that. Like TDE, right? Look at TDE. TDE doesn't necessarily go off of numbers. They want quality artists. All their
Yeah,
artists are pretty good quality artists. I mean, Kendrick, Absol, Schoolboy Q, the dude Rayvon now. I
Dochi.
mean, they put out quality artists. If I'm not, SZA, is it SZA TDE too?
Yep, Dochi killing him. Dochi's
So
killing him.
yeah, I mean, and all their artists successful, they're probably gonna have better longevity. They probably sell out their tours better. But the problem with like hip hop and R&B, I don't even know what's R&B nowadays. It's hard to even tell. But it all sound the same. It just all sound exactly the same.
Right.
There's
All right.
nothing new. I ain't heard nothing new recently.
You're right. I mean, you know what's new and that is dope with R&B. And shout out to my man Sean Barron and Ty Dolla Sign. They got this kid Leon Thomas that got a Mutt record. It was like a dog on a mutt. That's different and it's blowing the hell up. Now that's something left of the field. Who's gonna say I'm a dog, I'm a mutt? But the shit is incredibly blowing up. And that's an R&B record. And those guys know what they're doing. Ty Dolla Sign's an innovator. Sean Barron been around for years as an A&R, so that they come together and put this Leon Thomas guy together, and been behind him for years. And he finally got one, and that record won't die, bro. He's gonna tour off that record. He's gonna make millions of dollars. So that's a different twist with R&B. But you're right, it's only a handful. Back in the '90s, it was like 100 R&B artists at the same time. Like Guy, Jodeci, Livio, for sure. You had intro, you had, public announcement, you had, it was so many. Now it's like you can count on one hand almost.
So
There is a new group, R&B. I want everybody to pay attention. I got to go back to Max Goose again. I'm not trying to, Max and Max Goose and his team, um, they got this guy group that they just did America's Got Talent the other night. And these dudes, when I tell you, they're like a B2K, but To me, you had a lot more substance vocally today. It's bugging me out that I can't think of the name right this second. But these guys is the future. They just did America's Got Talent, and oh, I'll tell you right now, they just did America's Got Talent and tore that place down 2 days ago. So they're to me R&B group wise, they're they're um, they're going to change the game. They're going to change the game and bring it back. Uh, but I think 25 and 2026, you're going to start seeing influx of a bunch of a great R&B. I'll tell you the name of the group, man. I got to give you this name of this group, man. And this is my favorite group. That's why I'm like bugging. Like, how did I forget? Uh, how did I forget? Uh, the guys, because they're my favorite group, and it's sad that I got a blank in this interview. Uh, but I'll come back to it. I'll come
Yeah,
back
I
to
think your screen is froze right now too.
it. Did it? That's probably because I went out of it for a minute.
Okay, so Dizzle. Let's talk about Dizzle. Um, so shouts out to Mike Dizzle who came up with the formula. And but from what Roker told me, you and Roker are the ones that kind of like packaged it and kind of really went forward to make it a real plan. Like, what was it about Dizzle that y'all was like, yeah, y'all were willing to bet all y'all what y'all had on it?
Well, basically with that, we used to go to this spot called the GS Sports Bar. So first time going in there, the bartender I was like, "What's the drink out here? What's a cool drink?" He was like, "This drink called Dizzle." So I said, "Let me try it," and I was like, "Wow, this is like a sexy Long Island iced tea vibe, right?" So I would let me get one for Chris, one for me, and it got to the point where every day we would go there 6 days a week. We get a Dizzle, we get a Dizzle, we get a Dizzle. Everybody in the room drinking Dizzle, Dizzle. So one night I drive home, 45-minute ride. I get to my apartment and I wake up at 11 in the morning and I'm like one shoe on, one sock on. I'm like, how did I get home? I don't remember. Did I go to the freeway or the streets? Like, God must have took the wheel and drove me home, right? I get up. Where did I park? I ran outside. The car was still running, double parked in the streets in Hollywood. Like I had thought I had valet or something. Parked my shit and went in the house. And the car been running all night, keys in ignition. And I'm like, this drink is potent. So we stepped to Mike like, yo, dude, why don't we bottle this? And he like, y'all can do that? Like, yeah, we figured out, right at the beginning of COVID. So me and Chris came initially with the money to get everything going, get the labels going, get everything, get the company registered, get all that stuff out the way. And then it became reality. And then Mike at that point was like, oh, this is really real. He said, I'm so used to dealing with he said he used to deal with. He called it the about to niggas. He was my French, but
Yeah,
about to. I'm about to do this. I'm about to do a movie. I'm about to do. There's a lot of about to guys, right? So he said, I didn't think y'all was gonna pull it off because everybody said they could do what they can do. So when he really held that bottle in his hand, he seen me and Chris. Wasn't no joke. 'Cause I'm from Kansas City. I'm St. Louis, but then Kansas City. I get both. But Kansas City on the back of our license plates it says "Show Me State." So I'm here to show you. I ain't here
okay.
to talk. I'm not doing no talking. So we did it, and then we asked Mike, "How did you come up with this?" So Mike was like, Mike was a big promoter, and he's a celebrity barber to this day. But he did like backyard boogies, and it was like 200-300 people, all white linen parties, and so one girl was like, "I don't drink dark, dude. I don't do light." So Mike got the Gatorade bucket, put Don Julio and Remy. So he putting cognac with tequila, and then he got the mango margarita mix, and he's putting all this stuff in there. And people are like, yo, this is pretty good. And I'm faded. So he came up with this concoction. 10 years in the backyard boogie.
Yeah,
Then him and his partner, kicked off the restaurants, now called the District and once called 719, formerly the GS. And they said, let's test it out here. And it became the number one drink at the bar. So 10 years later, so it's like, damn. So me and Chris jumped in and got with Mike and we strategized. And it's funny because we're coming up on our 4-year anniversary set on Labor Day weekend. So this will be 4 years as Dizzle most people say, man, most liquors only last a year and a half. If you ain't gonna make it a year and a half, and it's over. You can't. And we looking at 4 years now. So we figured it out. It's tough game, man. Expensive game. But a lot of times I've been like, man, I don't know about this shit. I'm ready to quit. But as we about to quit, something else probably. Here goes the cans. Now we have Dizzle in a
Yeah.
can, and then we just picked up a couple more cities. And now, like, oh man, do we just let it go like that? We just picked up Georgia. We just picked up Missouri, Kansas City, St. Louis. Like, all right, let's just keep it going. So that's the thing. 4 year anniversary coming up. We have the Dizzle in a bottle, 750, and then we have the cans. Dizzle Margarita, Dizzle on the beach, Dizzle Red Bottom, Dizzle
Yeah.
Sangria. So
Sangria. Yeah.
now, yeah, so now we're expanding the brand, and you know how it goes, man. Most people, no one's in this game to build a brand and save it, keep it in your pocket. It's build the brand after X amount of years. Budweiser or somebody comes along and say, I want to buy your brand for 20, 30 million or whatever. Some cases 50 million. Depends
Yeah.
on the value of the brand at the time, right? So that's the goal. And then we'll flip that, and then we'll do another. Now that we know how this goes, and we went to, I would say, Chris calls it liquor school, because we had a lot of failures and a lot of mistakes, and a lot of screw ups, overspending money, and so we figured it out. So now we can do this with our eyes blindfolded. So we will definitely start a new brand, fresh, and kick it off again, and build that up and sell that. Build that up and sell that.
And you know what's crazy? I mean, like, okay, so my name Paul Masson, that's my original rap name, which is based off of a liquor. When I first drank Dizzle, I instantly realized I've been bamboozled by all these liquor companies my whole life. They were just selling like shit in a bottle. That's why you gotta have Henny and Coke, because Henny tastes like shit without Coke. Gin and juice. Gin tastes like shit without
Woo.
juice.
Wow.
It's like Dizzle. It's everything's ready to go. Now the first batch, I ain't gonna lie, was a little strong.
Yeah,
It was
that was in
that
our
first batch was a
experimental.
little strong, yeah.
Yeah, we was
And then
experimental. It was
y'all
too
brought it
strong. Even
down
for
a
me,
little
I was
bit.
like, it's too strong. Melvin Riley from Ready for the World, he called me, he said, man, because he drinks whiskey and bourbons. And so I sent him a bottle, and he like, man, what y'all trying to do, bro? Like, if I run out of gas, can I put this shit in my tank? Like, this is too strong, bro. So we had to listen to the people and smoothing it out a little more, put a little more mango. Because, Dizzle's tequila, cognac, orange liqueur with mango. So it's more like a sexy mango Long Island iced tea, 80 proof. It gets you where you want to go, and no hangovers for me. I've never had a hangover. But so we had to listen to the people and you, and man, this shit too strong, man. So we toned it back, smoothing it out. Now everybody loves it as is, and we pretty much got it where it's supposed to be.
Now, is there any proof that it's like a aphrodisiac? Because I done heard some stories out of Arkansas. Like I done heard a story where some chick bought like a scale breaker punch and end up calling up there and thanking him because like it saved her marriage because her man was like piping her better or something.
Right. That's the story in Arkansas. And shout out
Yeah,
to our guy Lil Rock
Lil
Obama
Rock
and
Obama and scale breaker.
Jailbreaker Punch, man. They took this brand on their backs with the distributor, obviously Anthony Eckert's, 63 stores, and how we gonna get this stuff out of there. So Lil Rock Obama has a great podcast every Tuesday. So him and then Scalebreaker just put it on their back and helped us out and made the shit crack out there. But what it is a couple of people are like, man, I drink that Dizzle, bro. And man, I effed the shit out of my girl, and then didn't I, baby girl? Yeah, you fucked shit out of me. It's like, whoa, is this real, right? So then the lady was like, yo, I had to get some myself because my man wasn't really, I gave it to him, and we got a great marriage now. I'm like, is this? So it's really that's the thing they say. It gets you in an aphrodisiac moment, and it's like they call it a Viagra, liquid Viagra. So whatever's too close to your boat, hey, we with it.
Yeah, because I think we looking at this all wrong. I think we could be saving marriages over here, man, with this Dizzle, yo. We could be saving
Right.
marriages with Dizzle
Yeah,
and
man.
whatnot.
Yeah, that's what I keep hearing. But I'm like, yo, okay, maybe. Hey, I never really drank it for that, but hey, I've had some moments my damn self. So hey, maybe Mike lucked up. You know.
Now, how hard is it branding Dizzle in these other like markets into like say like the rock and roll market, the pop market? Because when people think of Dizzle, they the first thing they're gonna run to is thinking of Snoop Dogg.
Yeah, we got that. Oh, that's Snoop's drink, right? Nah, it's not Snoop's drink. But you gotta keep in mind, E40, all of the Bay Area was doing that before Snoop, around the same time. Sizzle and Nizzle and
Yeah, for
E40
Shizzle
was
and all that. Yeah.
Fizz and this Fizz and so Mac Dre, so but yeah, the word Dizzle sometimes comes off like hood. But for us, we've experienced it. More white people drinking it now than ever. It's crazy. My guy in Indiana, Carl Rose now, got a festival going on out there, and it's like when I tell you how, when I tell you it's called the Redneck Festival. And I tell you, it's like Confederate flags everywhere, and they loving it. They drinking it. They loving it. It's like so white America is really thinking it's cool. Like, oh, this is cool. You know what I'm saying? So, hey, man, we here for everybody. We didn't tend to. I tell Mike all the time, we don't want this to be a hood drink. We don't want this to be a
Yeah.
hood strictly for the hood. No, we like MD 2020 and the Wild Hours Road. That's some hood shit. No, we want the world. We want Africa. We want London. We want white America. So, and it's crazy because our distributor in Kansas City, they are. I ain't gonna say they're scared, but I'm assuming they're scared to go to the hood. So, a lot of the cases in Kansas City are in the outskirts, all the
Okay.
suburban stores, and all in St. Louis, 40 minutes away from the hood. Like, why you gotta drive way out there to get a bottle of this? So we now changing that by having a representative, Rocca Patterson, and out there in Kansas City per se, and then my sister's going to jump on in St. Louis. Uh, uh, so what it is they're bringing it to the hood. So now they will deliver. If the hood calls and say we want 3 cases, they will deliver. They're not gonna not deliver because it's about money, right? But they just personally don't never thought of going to the hood to deliver this or anybody's drink. So now we got these great representatives, Brandocious and people like that, and Rocca, that's putting the word out, and they're getting the hood familiar in the hood liquor stores and the hood bars. So now, if a hood bar says, "Hey man, I want to get 2 cases of Dizzle," they're gonna definitely deliver. But them personally, they're not designed to deliver. To go and push this in the hood. But we changing that on our own.
Yeah, and Michael Jordan had a saying back in the days that I thought was just brilliant. With you know, people try to get him to play politics, and he said, "Hey, yo, Republicans buy shoes too." You know,
Right,
so
right.
it's if you want to make it for everybody, you can't just like that's the thing. You can't pick sides and play politics. You just got to make it for everybody. You know what I'm saying? And Dizzle's a cool sounding name. It just really is for a liquor brand.
Yeah. And see, and our attitude from the gate was never, we're gonna go to Compton, Long Beach, man. We're gonna go hood, go hardcore hood. We like, nah, man. We going for the Ciroc. If you know the Ciroc Diddy, bless whatever he's going through right now. He's
Yeah.
still, yeah, bless whatever he's going through right now. But Diddy still can't take away his greatness. So this thing was branding. If you've seen Ciroc, you've seen beautiful women, you've seen the parties, you've seen Leonardo DiCaprio, you've seen white America, you've seen white actors, you've seen, you got the beauty. So it was a lifestyle. So it's more of a lifestyle mentality. So we wanted to always be like, let's do that, because it's known for beautiful people, beautiful women, people partying with money, or people at the best parties. What's the movie that Leonardo DiCaprio played in, and had the lifestyle of every best
Wolf,
parties and all that.
Wolf of
The Great
Wall, Wolf of
was the
Wall
Great
Street.
Gatsby.
Oh no, The Great Gatsby. Okay, yeah, I thought you were talking
Yeah,
about Wolf
so
of Wall
so
Street
so
when he was a
so
stockbroker.
so yeah, so the urban great Gatsby, that's what Diddy's thing was. It would be a Russ Rock. So we always wanted to follow that thing. And of course, we're from the hood. So yeah, obviously we want the hood to endorse us, embrace us. So we want it all. But we still at the same time didn't want it to just be a MD 2020 type of drink, because when you do that, now it's like, well, why is this shit $30 a bottle? It should be like 15, right? So you gotta be careful when you say premium liqueur, it's premium. This is not your average, right? So bottle's $30 a bottle. In Kansas City, it's $38 a bottle. So it's like, how do
Yeah.
you go $38 a bottle in the hood? The hood people like, man. For $38, I can go buy MD 2020, a bottle of fucking what's the drink? E40 the drink. What's the beer? The beer. I can get a bottle of a nice bottle of St. Ives. I can get some MD 2020 and a 20 bag of weed. Damn near for that. So it's just like you have to be smart about it. So, but at the same time, when you're trying to sell the brand or when you're trying to build that brand and you want to sell it, they're gonna be looking at all that. Is this strictly for the hood? We'll give you $1 million. You know what I'm saying? Is this for everybody? We'll give you $20 million. So it's the difference of branding, how you brand it. Like Uncle Nearest, and she's figured it out. She went 5 years. It's $1 billion valuation. Company's worth $1 billion. So if
So
someone wants to buy that from her now, it's multiple of 10. That's $10 billion. And she ain't trying to sell it anyway. Because that drink is traditional. The Uncle Nearest, the slave that Jack Daniels made him make the drink, the Jack Daniels, and he was the one behind the Jack Daniels that no one knew until now. So far, we were established that, and now everybody know, and it's the number one whiskey in the world, and it's $1 billion valuation. So you know, it's big money in it if you do it right. Even Ciroc was doing $1 billion a year. Believe it or not, before all this craziness, he was doing $1 billion a year. It's big
so
business.
we about to be hitting this hour mark soon. Are you still doing anything with the movies with your cousin?
Absolutely. So again, and it's funny because when people ask me, "What do you do?" I see you with the all white suits all the time for 20 years. And, what do you do, bro? Who is this dude? What does he do? And a lot of times I like, should I tell you? You really about to do it? I can't do more because it's a long story and it's real. That's why I was like, oh, he's bragging. No, I came from Kansas City in '89. Came out here to be a songwriter. Uh, Turned into a songwriter, an artist, a producer, a manager, a music publisher with Notting Hill Music, which we'll tap on that, and then a liquor owner and the president of a film company. So I do a lot of things, and I got that from Russell Simmons, believe it or not, and Andre Harrell. Those are you got to think about it. Def Jam was Def Jam Records, Def
Yeah.
Jam Comedy. He financed the Nutty Professor. He had Fat Form Clothing. He did a lot of things. So I get my motivation from that. But to answer your question with my cousin, her name is Tangi B. Moore. She's out of Atlanta. Incredible writer, producer, and director. In the family, her mother and my mother's sisters, they both passed away of cancer. Brought
Yeah, I'm
us
sorry
closer
to hear that.
together. Uh, it brought us closer together, and she's phenomenal. She had about 8 movies under her belt. We just finished another one. We're about to sell another one. Uh, Movie on BET called Keys to the City. That did great, and we got a movie with uh, what's my guy DC Young Fly's first movie ever with Bobby Valentino, Hollywood Hearts. So she directs, writes, produces. So when I left Notting Hill, she said, "What you gonna do? What's your next chapter?" And I said, "I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out." Like, come fuck with us, family business. So I came as a VP of the company, and then fast forward, I'm now president of the company. Uh, President of the company called New Peak Entertainment. That's New Pique Entertainment. And so she directs it, does everything, writes it, does it all. My job as president is to raise the money, bring the California Hollywood talent or whatever talent. I know all these guys. I can pick up the phone and call certain actors and say, "Hey, man, I need you in this movie." Uh, and then it's kind of helping to help her to pitch it to the networks and pitch it to the movie companies, and so that's my position. We just did a movie called Before I Go, sci-fi thriller. Elijah Kelly, incredible actor, he starred in it. David Banner, which I didn't know David. That dude's a super beast in the acting games. You go Google his movies and television, you'll be like, what the hell? And so him, the chick from All American, the mother. We had Mary J. Blige's daughter in Power. So it's a so we doing these great movies. We trying to do them reasonable price, uh, and I'm the president of the company, and we're building into our own little Tyler Perry style, concept TV and film. So we're proud of that, and it gives me the opportunity to put Dizzle in the movie, or put songs in the movie that are people that I know that got hit records, and put soundtracks come with every movie. And I'm trying to talk to Top Dog, as you said, TDE earlier, to try to do a venture with Top Dog TDE where we do all of our soundtracks through TDE, and Top has invested in a couple of things with us, and we're about to do some things with him as well. So it's all in the family. But yeah, so film, television, and that was always my plan. To be honest, it was always like I started with music. Music is kind of in a weird time now,
It
and
is.
it's
It
not the
is.
same game, and people ain't making the money. The stream kind of fucked it up.
Yep.
They're not making the money they used to make in the '90s and 2000s, and so I was
Hell
blessed
yeah.
to be able to. I always said anyway years ago. I said, look, I want to retire in the film and TV game because of my client Jonathan McDaniel was Lil J at the time. He became a super actor, and I was on the set a lot of times watching him, and I'm like, I think I want to do this. So I lucked up with my cousin, so I'll tell people all the time that I didn't ask for none of this. I came out here to write songs. God took the wheel and said, now you're going to do this. He pushed me in this room. He pushed me in that room. Now I'm managing the Dina Howard. Now I'm managing actors. Now I'm running a Notting Hill Music Publishing out of the UK, and built it from a $0 to $80 million company. Signing people like Nelly, Air Force Ones, signing people like Jaquan Tipsy, which is now everybody in the club get tipsy, Shabuzi, signing
Yeah.
Beyonce stuff, signing Michael Jackson stuff, signing Chris Brown, signing Usher stuff, signing, J Lo. So I was blessed to be able. God pushed me in that room. Then he pushed me. Okay, now you're gonna go TV and films. And we have a live streaming company called, you know, World Connected that we do. We can do Usher live 200 countries in one night like a pay-per-view fight. So the hat just keeps on growing, and God just keeps opening all these doors that I'm like, oh man, now I got another one. I'm blessed, man. I can't complain.
And you said something about Dizzle in the movie. Just so y'all know, there's Dizzle was actually in a movie directed by Barry Williams from my hometown, Fayettenam. Go check that out. It's on Tubi. It's called I Made You. Dizzle was actually like the third or fourth star in the movie. I mean, it was all through the movie.
Right, right,
You had
right.
Dizzle at the car wash. You had old girl was sitting there drinking Dizzle, getting upset. Then she goes in the car wash and trying to find her boyfriend while she drinking Dizzle, spits Dizzle in old boy's face. Then they show Dizzle hanging out the window. Like, it was definitely something that made her do what she did. You know what I'm saying? She drank a little too much of that shit. She was drinking it straight out the bottle. Like, come
Yeah,
on, man.
yeah,
Dizzle on
yeah.
ice. Make sure y'all put
And
y'all's Dizzle on ice.
and just so y'all guys know, man, Paul, I appreciate you me even having the opportunity to do this interview with you. But Paul's a big part of Dizzle as well, and also he's the reason why we got that bottle in that movie, and he does a lot of our stuff that a lot of people don't know, a lot of our marketing and a lot of our creating social media campaigns, and so he's definitely been in for years from the beginning, and so he's a definite executive within the company of Dizzle brand and his own shit. He's doing his own podcast. So we all hustling, man. And I appreciate you getting up every day doing Dizzle business and doing this interview with me and doing what you love to do.
Yep. Before we let you go, any shout outs you want to do?
Yeah, man. I mean, I pretty much gave a lot of it already. I know Max Goose. I
Yeah.
know Mike Dizzle, Chris Roker, my
Roker.
cousin Tangy B Moore. Top Dog TDE. You obviously.
Appreciate it.
Ken Wilson, who's incredible radio. Anybody need
Yeah.
a good radio
Shouts out to
campaign?
Ken.
Ken Wilson will get you number one every time. Ken was my radio guy when I was on Rough House Columbia, for sure. We was 1991.
Okay.
He was part of the team to get our shit at radio, and it's crazy. 2025, he's still the number one guy to get your shit popping at radio. Other than that, let's see who else. Oh, again, I gave all the shout outs like Scalebreaker. Look out for Scalebreaker punches. Definitely coming back around. Uh, 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 uh,
Lil Rock Obama.
Barack Obama got his drink. You
And
know,
what about King Tech? I like King Tech TV. He does a lot of stuff
King
for
Tech.
us up
Oh
there.
yeah, shout out to King Tech. He keeps us alive. He keeps us going. The corner
He
boy,
definitely promotes
corner
Dizzle a
boy,
lot.
the corner store guys. Everybody, man, all our distributors, James Allnut, Rocker Patterson. I mean, Brand Docious is a dope artist out of Kansas City. That's kind of like our ambassador. He just did a Dizzle commercial with this beautiful girl named Genesis Mariah, who's the next up. So many people, man. But in the beginning, I say Rose. I'll say in the beginning, I would have to say Andre Harrell, rest in peace. Kurt Whitley, Charlie Davis. You know, those guys been moving into Sylvia Rone and Running Bob and Rick Browns of the world and then moving it into Notting Hill. And then Notting Hill, just to touch real quick. I know we got like 6 minutes. Uh, when I had Adina popping, they like,
Mhm.
dude, who are you? You writing all these songs? We want to do a pub deal with you. I said, I don't know if I want to do a pub deal yet, but they're like, well, you do an administrative deal where they just collect the money for me. I said, I could do that. Well, I still own my shit, right? And then they're like, yo, we don't know no one in America. Can you come on board and help us build in America? I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, yeah, let's do it. First person was Will Smith, and then then come Air Force One's Nelly, and then comes CeeLo Green, Don't You, by the Pussycat Dolls, Outkast Roses, and then Beyonce, her first album, Michael Jackson. So I just started getting them popping, and then they became one of the most biggest independent publishers to go to in America. And they like, yo, it was all because of you. And think about that. You got zero money coming in. You don't know nobody in America. You meet me. And within a short amount of time, because of my great relationships, never burn a bridge, turned into an $80 million company. And so it just got to the point where after signing all these great things, I said, look, I think I need a raise. I think I need,
Uh-uh.
they didn't want to do it. I
Yeah.
don't think we're ready to do that. I'm like, what? Okay, I'm out. It's time to do my own thing. And that's when I looked up and started my own catalog company, which I almost forgot. We just did the Rodney Jerkins deal, a part of that, with Harvard View. Um, a couple months ago, and so we're doing a lot of great Tim from Tim and Bob. They don't know John B. They don't know, and I'm still into Tamir. They did all the great hits in the '90s, so I was honored to do his deal with my partners Vincent Searcy and Eric Jackson. At the time, Vincent is now on the board of advisors for Harborview, who was the biggest thing going, billions of dollars, and they buying up everything. They did Nelly's deal. They've done Enrique Iglesias. They did James Ponteray, Rodney Jerkins. So at the end of the day, publishing is another great thing. I'm still doing it on my own. I have my own catalog company that gets catalogs presented to the money buyers, the buyers. These deals be range anywhere from $1 million up to 400, $500 million. It just depends on the value of the catalog. So I'm just blessed to really have. And sometimes I forget some of these hats to be able to do all this and still be here 35 years later. This is my 35-year anniversary, and still be able to do that and be inspirational to some people, most people. And so people say you're a legend, but I'm just Livio.
Why do you think everybody's all of a sudden selling their catalogs now, though?
Because it's smart. It's just like back in the day, people like,
Nobody
I
wanted
don't
to
want to,
do that back in the days, though.
I don't want to sell it because I want to save it for my kids and my kids' kids. That kind of shit. When Prince died, their families fighting for 8, 9 years to figure out who gets what and who was this and who's worthy of that, and it was ugly, and they end up getting it together. But it was like, man, Smokey Robinson. Hey, man, I could do this deal, 80 million or whatever. Put that money, take some of that and spread it around my kids today. Put it in an account that says get that money later. That's a better way of doing it. And so because what usually happens is the people die, and when they die, the people that's left behind don't know what to do with it. They don't know how to do with it. It's a mess. It's just so it's kind of like if you got the opportunity to sell it and get your bag. Think about the Dream. The Dream did his deal years ago when it first started, and I ain't gonna get into how much he got, but people are like, why would he sell his car? He took that money, invested in the Burger Kings and franchises and restaurants that people don't even know. And guess what? After that, he lucked up and ran and fell into Beyonce camp. So he's writing everything for B.
Oh
Guess
shit.
what? That's a whole new catalog that he could sell 4 or 5 years from now that may be worth 200 million at that time. So people are selling it because they look at it like, okay, if I sell it today, I could get 100 million, or if I sell it today, I can get 20 million. But if I don't sell it, I'm getting the catalog. Let's say 200, let's say 20 million. To get $20 million today, you have to be able to be generating 2 million. So it's a multiple of 10 years from now. So let's
Yeah.
say you're making $2 million consistently over the years, consistently. Then it's worthy of $20 million today. If you
Yeah.
want to not do a deal and just keep getting that two and that two and that two, it's going to take you 10 years to get to 20 million. So do you
Yeah.
want to get to 20 million today, or you want to wait 10 years and hope that the catalog don't start dipping and depreciating? And now
And
it's
that's
just
what I
starting to
think
go.
it is. I think it's the fact streaming is devalued the music, it's depreciated. It's free already on platforms like Spotify and YouTube. I mean, because even Migos, when old boy passed away, right when he passed away, they sold the label sold a bunch of that catalog because the Migos ain't never gonna be the same again without Takeoff.
Right.
Their
Right. And
stocks
they did. I think they did
plummeted.
was like 200 million. Nelly's was 100 million. You know, so it's big money business. So think about that. I can get 100 million a day. I can invest in properties. I can invest in real estate. I can invest in the restaurants. I can do all that shit that's gonna make money for me while I go to sleep. Or I can sit there and keep chasing this $1 million a year for 10 years. I get $1 million a year for 10 years slowly, and then hope that it doesn't depreciate. Now it's down to it's not worth $1 million. It's not worth 10 million. I mean 100 million. Now it's only worth 80 million. And it's only 70 million. So he's smart. But even with him, he was smart because he says $100 million deal. I just want 50 of it now. So I only want to do half. Still own the
Okay.
other half. So he got 50 now, and if he ever go broke, because hopefully not with 50 million, hopefully he lasts forever.
Yeah.
If he ever goes broke, he can go back and grab that other 50. So that was a smart strategic scenario with him. Most people,
Yeah.
just sell it all and be done with it. But
And
that
Nelly
answers your
was
question.
actually one of the biggest debut hip hop artists of all time at 10 million sold first album. I mean, he was huge.
Yeah. So think about that. How valuable that is. 20 some years later, 30 years later, you still worth $100 million worth of your catalog is worth 100 million. That's why a lot of people do want to keep their publishing, but when you get to a certain age in life, you be like, dude, I'm 60. What the fuck I'm gonna do? I might just cash out, give my kids their money now, so they're not fighting over it when I die, and live the rest of my life.
All right, before we go, let you go. Anything else you want to say?
That's it, man. I just want to say to everybody out there listening, or whoever may hear this thing in life, is that you never give up, never take no. Man, you know what I mean? Doors I got slammed in my face. You know what I mean? Nose, you can't do it. It's not gonna happen. It's impossible. And I look up and I'm like, God damn, I did that. I really did that. I did that too. I did. So I say, and just in leaving, whatever is on your head, whatever's in your vision, do it. Even if it sounds crazy, these people are gonna tell you it sucks, it's crazy. Those are haters. Do you do what you believe in? Because guess what? It's gonna happen. It's just about how dedicated you are. And now you can look back and say, "Damn, if I would listen." Like with me, Adina, that ain't gonna work. She's too freaky. Nobody wants to hear that shit. And I almost didn't do it. And I did it. Guess what? I'm getting in clubs and bars 30 something years later. That's the dude that did Adina. Nobody gives a shit probably, but it's like, let him in. He discovered Adina. He did. So and I made a name off of that. So I'm Livio Harris because of the Adina moment, and I was able to take that and do other things. So thank God I was able to not get stuck in one zone. I got stuck in a lot of zones. And my motivation to being a manager is Michael Bivins. Michael Bivins from New Edition. At the time was BBD. He
I met
discovered
him
Boys and
before.
Men. He discovered Boys and Men. He discovered ABC. He discovered Subway at the same time while he was still in the group. That let me know I could be in a group and still manage and discover. And that's when Adina came. And so he was a very motivation for me to understand the transition of not just being an artist. You could be an artist, you could be a manager, you could be a producer, you could do it all. So, and then one last shout out, Carlos Bud Ford. Pay attention to that guy, Carlos Bud Ford. He's one of my guys I was in for sure. He moved to Canada, has an album coming out in the next few
Okay.
weeks, and it's an incredible album. He's still here. I'm proud of that brother to be able to say that we was in a band called Grand Jury Band together, then transitioned to Hollywood for sure, and then transitions for me retiring from singing, but he still got it going on after 35 years, 36 years. So shout out to Bud Ford.
That's what's up, man. Well, I appreciate you taking time out. I know you got an appointment coming up here.
Yep.
So I'm
You
going to
made it
let you
happen. You
go
made it happen. I was kind of
do your
figuring and juggling,
thing.
like, how am I gonna
Yeah.
make this happen? I gotta figure
Well,
this shit out. I can't let Paul down, man. It's like, so we got it done, man. I
well, we
hope
should
people
get a lot of
enjoyed it.
good clips, man. A lot of names you shouted out in there, a lot of good clips. So we'll be able to tag some of these people on social media, and hopefully we get some engagement from some of these people.
All right, brother. Thank you.
All right. Enjoy the rest
All
of
right.
your day, man, and I'll text
Yes,
you.
sir. Yep. Thanks.
All right, peace. Well, there you have it. Another interview in the books. Livio Harris, 1/3 of the Dizzle brand, boys. A lot of names in there, man. I mean, if you're a big Adina Howard fan, there possibly wouldn't be Adina Howard without Livio Harris. I mean, he discovered her, produced her. I mean, worked with Keith Sweat, Maya, CC Peniston, Melvin Riley, just a lot of names in there, man. A lot of knowledge about the game and the industry, a lot of experience. And I think that's what the new generation is lacking. They want to be disconnected to the people that came before them, but you always gotta respect the people that came before you. And Kurt Woodley, who managed him and discovered Mary J. Blige. Like, if you're an artist that's being managed by the guy who discovers Mary J. Blige, you gotta be doing something right. You gotta be doing something right. And shouts out to this guy, like you said, Carlos Bud Ford. Of course, you had Joey Elias says associated Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Perspective Records, and then Damon Thomas also was part of Foreshore. And go check them out. You can go on YouTube and find some music videos and some clips. It's FOUR Shore, and they got a Wikipedia as well on Google. And before I go, man, I'm gonna play a gonna go quick Dizzle brand commercial, and then we're gonna get back into finishing to let you know what the lineup is and the schedule.
That Dizzle ain't no joke, got me addicted, ain't no coke. Let's just have a toast. Anybody want some smoke? Cause it's up, I be Dizzled up. Catch me sipping with my double cup. Can't just have one, you gotta double up. You pour it, gotta watch it bubble up. I ain't gon' lie, I cannot get enough. When Callie said I need another one, gon' have you coming back for more. But go get it while it's hot, before it be sold out in your stores. That Dizzle.
That's right. I really mean it. You could Dizzle too. Dizzle's a premium luxury liqueur mixed with agave tequila, cognac, and orange liquor mango mix. Throw your Dizzle on ice, and it's nice. Want to order your very own bottle or bottles? Go to dizzlebrand.com. Click on our locations. I recommend Emilio's Beverage. Must be 21 and over. Shipping and handling is included. Also on that link, there's actual store locations in Kansas, Arkansas, Georgia, and California, and should be coming soon to a city state near you. All right, let me go to the schedule real quick. So we still got, like I said, we still got Sway Zaga the Goats June 19th. Pretty P, we gotta reschedule that. I gotta check the email, see if they got a new date. Jay Fliz, who got runner up for Song of the Day in the music reviews a couple weeks ago, June 13th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Lord Digger, June 12th, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And Michael Myers as well, June 27th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And he definitely got a dope album. Go check him out. And also, Paul Pickett Podcast. We got an interview tomorrow on Paul Pickett Podcast. Go follow me there as well. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, everywhere else. That's June 6th, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And then it's Sunday, we got Francesco Richie, June 8th, 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And then just set up today, interview with BKFC fighter Robert Armas. That's June 10th, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Got a lot of interviews coming up, man. So appreciate y'all tuning in. Remember, live on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram. And Instagram apparently didn't stream today, so I had to restream this interview right after on Instagram. And also upload the Rumble, and the audio version goes to Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, Slacker, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and much, much more. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Peace. And I'm out.